There's a whisper in the stone, a truth that no one knows about the day the story chose. The way it had to go, scrolls opened long before the cradle ever rocked, and every moment of my future has already been The royal chambers felt like steel, the windows turned to glass. No matter where I run, the prophecy will always catch. They say a blessing holds the light, they say a curse holds night, but both are just a binding force, a lack of choice in flight. I saw the woman with the staff, the spindle in her head. This is the moment when the music stops for fate before the knot. The consequence was written. We were born on borrowed time, on the breath of someone else's head. The thread is pulled, the future is forbidden. The fateful thread. The thread is pulled, and I'm already They told me destiny was kind, a gentle woven fate. They said a hero would arrive, I only had to wait. But the wait turned into winter, and the winter froze the key, and the spinning wheel just whispered all the things I'd never be. I hear the echo of the day. They told me to be still, and the world keeps turning fiercely outside this barren hill. I don't mind the dark, I mind the time that slips away. A century of silence is a heavy frozen crown. My heart still beats, but the world has aged 100 years. A century of silence is a heavy frozen crown. 100 years, and I'm still
The window is the same square view, a canvas never changed. The 4 stone walls I live within are perfectly arranged. I trace the lines along the glass, the dust that gathers slow, and the world outside is moving, a current I don't know. My day starts with the sun, ends when the shadows fall, and I've memorized the cracks in every single stone in this hall. They send me books on geography, on oceans wide and deep, but you can't read about a sunrise when you're still I hear the distant sound of voices, laughter and a bell, a secret symphony of freedom that I can never tell. I throw my voice out to the sky, it only circles back. A bird that tries to fly but finds there's no place on the track. I don't care about the rescue, I just need the view to change. I need the ground to feel unsteady, something rearranged. I need a single sound that hasn't been an echo of the past. I know the shape of every road I'm never walking down. I see the high tower horizon from this crown I'm forced to wear. I watch the clouds move faster than my feet ever could. Just let me breathe the wind that hasn't been trapped inside here. High tower, the horizon is a promise. High tower, the horizon is a promise.
They call it silk, they call it sunshine, a blessing from the sky. But every inch of it's a burden pulling me until I cry. I feel the knots beneath the roots, the strain upon my neck. It's not a river flowing, it's a rope around a wreck. I braid it every morning, a ritual of despair, tossing all my future into thin and empty air. It's heavy when it's wet, it tangles in the night. It keeps me waiting for the promise of a sudden brutal light. And every time they use it, I feel my center sway. These miles of golden braid are dragging me down to the stone. It's not just hair, it's the tether keeping me from flight. I'm alone, I carry the weight of expectation in this heavy shining stream. It's the longest lifeline ever braided to a faded dream. I think of scissors sharp and cold, a moment of release to shed this golden anchor and finally find my peace. But the fear of falling down below is stronger than the urge to be untethered from the spell right at the sudden verge. If I cut it free, would I forget the path I had to climb? Would I lose the very thing that buys me all this wasted time? They see a princess, they don't see the chains I grew myself. They don't see the prison built of pride and golden health. I am the tower and the ladder and the guard upon the wall. The sound I make is always mine, bouncing off the ceiling tile. I test the silence just to hear it answer with a slow reply. I talk to mirrors, I talk to dust, I tell the walls my fears, and they just send the messages back across the passing years. The only conversation is the dialogue I bring, a loop of questions and the answers that the tower sings. I try to make the shadow play a different kind of role. I try to train the silence not to swallow up my soul. But I know every crack and every voice that lives inside. I've memorized the sound of my own voice when nobody hears it. In this echo chamber, every whisper comes back louder. The walls are built to keep the world out, but they keep the real me in. I'm the audience, the actor, and the director of the scene. I'm trapped inside the sound of me. I play pretend, I try on names, a different girl each day, just to break the monotony, to keep the ghosts away. I argue with the former self, the one who used to dream, and try to find the difference in the noise and in the stream. I know when I'm lying, I know when I'm telling the truth, because the ceiling always answers, reflecting back my youth. Maybe the silence wasn't meant to break me, but to mold. Maybe the lack of outside noise makes the inner story bold. The sound of freedom starts inside, where the walls can't tear it down. I memorize the sound of my own voice when nobody hears it. In this echo chamber, every whisper comes back louder. They call them legs, they claim it's free, but they barely move for me. They feel like wood, a heavy hood, pulling me away from the sea. I'm used to gliding, effortless and smooth, a secret that I kept. Now every single step I take, I feel the pain that I have swept. I traded grace for gravity, a price I can't deny. I miss the depth of where I sat beneath the ocean sky. The land world is too hard and fast, my balance starts to fail. I miss the liquid language, the currents and the trail. I stumble on the stairs, I try to hide the floor. I wish I could shed this new skin and escape the gravity's law. I miss the depth, the place where science understood me. This weight of the tale is gone, but the ground still drags and hoods me. I used to dance with currents, now I fight the air I breathe. I'm caught between the liquid past and the sharp ground underneath. I watch the people skip and run, a movement so innate, and I try to mimic what I see, accepting this new fate. My balance is a lie, my posture is a strain. I hide the stiffness in my walk, disguising all the pain. The world of glass and concrete is unforgiving and cruel, and I'm just a clumsy beginner, stuck playing by the rules. I long for the deep pressure, the comfort of the dark, to shed these brittle, fragile bones and leave my human mark. The trade was not for beauty, it was just for the ability to climb. Now I'm paying for each step I take, losing precious time. I miss the depth, the place where silence understood me. This weight of the tale is gone, but the ground still drags and hoods me. I used to dance with currents, now I fight the air I breathe. I'm caught between the liquid past and the sharp ground underneath. The gravity holds me, I miss the depth. They look at the jewels, they bow at the name, but they don't see the fire, they don't see the flame. I bought this reflection, I paid for this piece, a constant collection that never can cease. I fought every battle to sit on this chair, while they only whisper and flutter and stare. The world wants a winner, the world wants the best, and I crushed pressure to hold this is heavier than gold. I wear the envy of the world like the heaviest jewel. Jealousy's crown is fixed with a promise that's cruel. It demands a mirror, a witness, a face that is fair. If I can't be the brightest, then no one can dare. I'm the monarch of men, it's the one who won't lose. I stare at the glass, I consult with the light. I demand absolute truth in the darkness of night. I check for a wrinkle, a flaw, or a sign that the reign of my beauty might not be divine. I built all the rules that determine who wins. I started the game with the deadliest sins. To be fairest is not a request, it's commands. To protect what I earn by the strength of my hand. The quiet competitor, growing unseen, a silent reminder of what I have been. She threatens my title, she challenges my worth. She must be erased before she sees rebirth. The darkness outside me is nothing compared to the darkness I keep. I wear the envy of the world like the heaviest jewel. Jealousy's crown is fixed with a promise that's cruel. It demands a mirror, a witness, a face that is fair. If I can't be the brightest, then no one can dare. I'm the monarch of men, it's the one who won't lose. I won't lose. I won't lose. Never lose. The mirror knows my secrets, the vows that broke my soul. I stand before the silver, trying to keep control. I sacrifice my kindness, my leisure and my sleep, to harvest every promise that a perfect face can keep. I watch the daylight fade, I fear the coming dark, because perfection is a target with a vulnerable mark. They praise the throne, they fear the name, they think the cost was free. But the mirror shows the surface, and the sickness runs beneath. Every jewel is a weight, every compliment a lie. The fairest price is the loss of the woman I used to be. I traded all my simple joy for this toxic majesty. The mirror shows the surface, but the sickness runs beneath. I paid the fairest price, and all I bought was grief. The crown is heavy, and the envy never rests. I sent away the pure one, the one who didn't fight. hoping that her absence would restore my fading light. But the competition wasn't her, the battle was inside. Against the ghost of innocence I buried where I hide. I see the hairline fracture where the porcelain must break, and I fear the quiet promise that tomorrow she will wake. I have all the power, I have all the fame, but I'm trapped within this cycle, consumed by my own name. If I stopped fighting now, if I let the beauty go, would I find the heart I lost, or just the bitter cold? The fairest price is the loss of the woman I used to be. I traded all my simple joy for this toxic majesty. The mirror shows the surface, but the sickness runs beneath. I paid the fairest price, and all I bought was grief. The crown is heavy, and the envy never ends. The fairest price. The sickness runs beneath.
I scrub the floors until they shine beneath their jealous gaze. I fold the linen, keep the peace, and navigate the haze. They try to make my spirit small, they try to dim the light, but the kindness that they cannot touch burns steady through the night. I sing to little creatures, the ones who understand that there is freedom in the heart those shackles hold a hand. They fed me crumbs, they took the key, they thought I'd start to cry, but strength is grown in silence beneath an indifferent sky. The shadows here are long, but the sun is on my side. The apple never fell, they couldn't break the skin, they couldn't reach the promise and the hope I hold within. I tasted all the bitterness, but I refuse the poison. My innocence is not a weakness, it's the strength of my decision. I chose to live, I chose to thrive. I learned the woodsman's silent code, the path he wants me to take. I saw the kindness in his eyes, the promise he would make. He told me run and don't look back, they cannot follow you. And in that moment of true choice, my quiet power grew. The palace walls are high, but the forest is so deep, and secrets that the wicked hide are secrets they must keep. They think they win by tearing down, by forcing me to kneel, but every single task they set makes my determination real. I am the keeper of the truth, and the silence is my shield. The apple never fell, they couldn't break the skin, they couldn't reach the promise and the hope I hold within. I tasted all the bitterness, but I refuse the poison. My innocence is not a weakness, it's the strength of my decision. I chose to live, I chose to thrive.
us to thrive. The music's loud, the lights are bright, but all I hear is the clock. I feel the ground begin to shake beneath the sudden shock. He doesn't need my name or face, he only needs the dance. But I'm losing every precious second, taking one last chance. The carriage waits, the magic's thin, the spell is on the edge. I kiss goodbye to servitude, standing on the ledge. The clock is ticking faster now, a pounding in my soul. I have to make it out of here before the light takes hold. I left my mask, I left the silk, I left the girl they knew. I'm a midnight runner, breaking every single rule. Don't wait up for the rescue, running fast and running cool. Glass shoe drops on the marble, a shimmering perfect clue. Gotta go, gotta run the clock past you. Oh, the air turns cold, the music cracks, the crystal starts to break. I hear the first deep heavy chime, a promise I must take. I don't look back at the grand hall, the gold across the light. My freedom is the tunnel beneath the heavy midnight. The clock is striking 12 right now, the magic starts to fade. I run on pure adrenaline before the moments play. They think a simple maid can't disappear without a trace. They think the glass will shatter, forcing me back to my place. But I learned to run in shadows, I learned to move in fear. The final chime is ringing in my ear. I'm a midnight runner, breaking every single rule. Don't wait up for the rescue, running fast and running cool. Glass shoe drops on the marble, a shimmering perfect clue. Gotta go, gotta run the clock past you. The clock strikes 12. Gotta go, gotta run, midnight The dust has settled in the hall, the echoes have all died. They talk about the mystery, the stranger that they spied. I heard the news from down the street, the herald search and plea. They hold the key to freedom, but they don't know it's for me. The glass shoe is the compass, the perfect fragile map, leading them right back to where I was caught within the trap. They follow the glitter on the road, the shimmering slight trace. They're looking for a princess, a figure of high grace. They don't know the sweat and tears that built the moment's gleam. This golden trail they follow leads straight back to the flame. The marching band, the drum beat getting closer every year. My sisters preen and push and fight, convinced the shoe is theirs. Blind to the quiet, knowing that my heart is built on stairs. The glass will fit the truth, it won't be fooled by lace or gold. The story of the midnight runner finally must be told. Do I hide the foot that wore it, or face the sudden fear? To choose the truth and break the cycle I've been living here. The shoe is just a symbol, the choice is mine to wear. This golden trail they follow leads straight back to the flame. One glass footprint tells the story, whispers my secret name. I lost the shoe to save the girl, I left the magic there. Now the fragments of the moment hang suspended in the air. The search has begun. One glass footprint. The search has begun. The door swung open wide. They thought that I would hide. They watched me standing tall, defying them inside. They tried to cram their feet, they tried to cheat the scale, but the glass was cold and honest. The efforts had to fail. I saw the panic in their eyes, a crumbling of the lie, because the simple truth was something they could never buy. They told me I was nothing, they told me I was small. They built their power high by making sure I'd fall. But the thing they couldn't touch, the light they couldn't seize, the unbreakable thing is not the glass shoe on the floor. It's the spirit that survived the years behind that bolted door. They couldn't break the promise that I made to myself. I am the story, I am the worth, I am the ultimate wealth. You can't fit magic on a foot that walks a wicked path. I stepped right past the shouting, past the anger, past the plea. The validation wasn't in the prince who noticed me. The victory was standing here, whole, breathing, and I'm bound on the very floor. They told me I belong beneath the ground. I wore the shame they gave me, and I turned it into steel. Now they face the consequences, the wounds that never heal. I don't need the grand announcement, I don't need the crown to prove my power is the quiet choice that allows me now to move. The truth is my momentum, the future is my friend. The unbreakable thing is not the glass shoe on the floor. It's the spirit that survived the years behind that bolted door. They couldn't break the promise that I made to myself. I am the story, I am the worth, I am the ultimate wealth. You can't fit magic on a foot that walks a wicked path. The unbreakable thing. I am the ultimate wealth. The unbreakable thing. I am the ultimate wealth. is tight, the air is thick with duty. I know the rules of every room, the cost of all this beauty. They tell me who I have to be, they map out every path. But my spirit keeps rebelling against this royal wrath. I watch the street vendors down below, hear the market's distant sound. A symphony of real life that I've never been allowed. The veil is heavy, the walls are high, but the curiosity is vast. I need to shed the history, I need to break the cast. The guards are turning blind, the key is in my hand. I don't need magic carpets or a wish that will come true. I just need solid ground beneath my feet and a whole new view. To breathe the dust and taste the fear, to stand where the common people stand. To leave the gilded cage and be mistaken for the land. Traded out the diamonds for a piece of simple cloth. I left behind the heavy name, the title and the moth. The moment that I stepped outside, the air felt wild and new. The weight of expectation vanished like the morning dew. I'm just a woman, clumsy, quick, and nobody knows my worth. I am nobody's property, reborn upon the earth. They see the kingdom, they don't see the price of the command. They don't see the pressure of the ring upon my hand. The only way to know the truth is to step outside the lie. I don't need magic carpets or a wish that will come true. I just need solid ground beneath my feet and a whole new view. To breathe the dust and taste the fear, to stand where the common people stand. To leave the gilded cage and be mistaken for the land. Mistaken for the land. The bottle is in bronze, it's digital and sleek. The power is in granite, it's borrowed for a week. He showed me all the loopholes, the fine print in the light, the perfect way to cheat the system and win the loyal fight. He said you want a title, you want the perfect match. 3 simple words of power and I will seal the latch. But the genie isn't magic, he's a salesman of despair. He promises the kingdom but he leaves the soul threadbare. I know the cost is always hidden in the small print of the deal. He offered 3 wishes, but all I got was a contract. A temporary high that leaves no room to look back. The power is in the loop, the beauty in the cheat, but nothing gained so quickly ever tastes truly sweet. I have the wealth, I have the name, but the debt remains unseen. I think of all the struggle, the honest work, the sweat, and how easily a shortcut can make a person forget. I could return to simple life, to earning my own way, or take this path of perfect lies and live a gilded day. The magic is addictive, the power is a drug. It gives you everything you lack with a synthetic hug. He doesn't want my freedom, he just wants to own the choice. He wants to silence history and amplify his voice. I have to choose the moment before the contract seals my fate. He offered 3 wishes, but all I got was a contract. A temporary high that leaves no room to look back. The power's in the loop, the beauty in the cheat, but nothing gained so quickly ever tastes truly sweet. I have the wealth, I have the name, but the debt remains unseen. 3 wishes.
hurts, the gold is cold, the canopy is vast. I'm back within the perfect walls, held captive by the past. I trade the markets on its noise for silence soft and deep, where every wish is granted but the promises won't keep. They polished off the dust and grit I earned out on the street. And now the floor is spotless beneath my pampered feet. They think that this abundance is the answer to my soul. They don't know that my freedom was the only worthy goal. The diamonds hide the bars, the silver hides the lack. I'm living in a gilded cage, the most beautiful prison made. I have the title, I have the wealth, but the price has to be paid. This isn't freedom, this is just a more expensive plea. I miss the chaos of the city when they couldn't recognize me. I want the risk, the rain, the fight. I see the suitors line the hall. They speak of land and trade, but they don't see the running girl, the choices that she made. They talk to the crown, they talk to the name, they never talk to me. And I feel more alone in here than I did out by the sea. I'd give away the palace and the 40,000 rooms to smell the honest sweat and spice and escape these heavy fumes. The only true adventure was the moment I ran free. The real magic wasn't power, it was authenticity. Now I have to break the lock that I politely let them seal. I'm living in the gilded cage, the most beautiful prison made. I have the title, I have the wealth, but the price has to be paid. This isn't freedom, this is just a more expensive plea. I miss the chaos of the city when they couldn't recognize me. I want the risk, the rain, the fight. Gilded cage, gilded cage, gilded cage. I want the risk, the fight. The gate swung shut with a sound like doom, sealing off the light. The air is thick with old perfume and the endless silent night. Every corridor is vast, every window stained with dust. I know the history is heavy, built on secrets and mistrust. The walls are high, the shadows deep, the statues watch me move. I'm trapped inside this haunted house with everything to prove. I hear the roar behind the door, a temper sharp and quick. I know the rules of this forced state, the emotional trick. I check my pulse, it's fast and scared. I scream but make no sound. There's a beast within the gate and I am standing in his lair. I can feel the power and the rage suspended in the air. They took my freedom for a debt, a bargain cold and steep. I'm not the prize, I am the sacrifice the wicked walls must keep. How do I look past the teeth? The objects whisper when I pass. They watch me with their eyes. They hold the truth and the consequence of the monster in disguise. I'm looking for the crack, the flaw, the humanity that's hid beneath the fur, behind the anger, the thing that they forbid. I try to keep my composure tight. I try to stand my ground, but the fear of the unknown is the loudest, sharpest sound. Ooh. They say he was a prince once, trapped by a careless curse, but all I see is fury and
and the constant getting worse. I have to find the weakness, I have to find the key. There's a beast within the gate and I am standing in his lair. I can feel the power and the rage suspended in the air. They took my freedom for a debt, a bargain cold and steep. I'm not the prize, I am the sacrifice the wicked walls must keep. How do I look past the teeth? How do I look past the teeth? Trapped within the gate. The library's warm, the fire's bright, the china's delicate and fine. I walk the halls in borrowed gowns beneath the flickering wine-red sign. He doesn't shout, he doesn't growl, he just observes me from the shade. And I mistake the gentle quiet for a choice that I have made. I know the comfort is a trap, the luxury a plea, but the world outside was harsher than this gilded misery. They told me villains wore a mask, but his is just his face, and the way he treats the roses gives a strange and fragile grace. I'm starting to confuse the fear with something I could say. But this is the Stockholm Waltz, a complicated, careful dance. One step toward my freedom, two steps back toward the trance. I wear his quiet kindness like a velvet binding chain. I'm confusing safety with the love that erases all the pain. I'm dancing with the beast inside the castle walls. I think of all the promises I made before I came, to break the dead, to find the exit, to scream out my own name. But here the days are predictable, the chaos is controlled. A structured life is safer than a story yet untold. The shadows aren't as heavy now, I know the place they fall, and I know the subtle signal that will make him stand up tall. The spell isn't on him, the magic is on me, to make me stay and yearn, to fix the thing I want to flee. I am the only witness to the fragile human heart. This is the Stockholm Waltz, a complicated, careful dance. One step toward my freedom, two steps back toward the trance. I wear his quiet kindness like a velvet binding chain. I'm confusing safety with a love that erases all the pain. I'm dancing with the beast inside the castle walls. Stockholm walls inside the castle walls. I didn't see the horns, I didn't see the claw, I only saw the anger that was driven by a flaw. I looked beyond the rage, beyond the constant sigh, and saw the portrait of before he learned to lie. He thinks he's fighting magic, but the monster is the fear that what he lost can never be rebuilt, year after endless year. The mirror in the hall is cracked, it shows a blurry face. It shows the prince I didn't know, and my own loss of grace. We are two broken figures trapped within the castle walls. The shattered reflection shows both of us in pieces. The curse isn't on him alone, it's the beautiful pain that increases. I see the girl I used to be before my life was sold. I see a fate unwritten turn tragically cold. We are two parts of the same destructive silent curse. He built this fortress to keep others out, to hide his brutal cost, but he didn't realize that everything he valued would be lost. I am the final witness, the last chance to retrieve the fragile human heart that he refuses to believe. I held my hand out to the paw, I touched the matted fur, and felt the shame and the desperation. He still clings to her. They say that beauty saved the beast, but truth is kindness won. It takes a mirror to show someone where the damage has begun. I will break the glass that holds him. I will break the glass that holds me. The shattered reflection shows both of us in pieces. The curse isn't on him alone, it's the beautiful pain that increases. I see the girl I used to be before my life was sold. I see a fate unwritten turn tragically cold. We are two parts of the same destructive silent curse. Shattered reflection, silent curse.
They gave me maps of every star, they drew the lines of where to go. They told me destiny was set, a fixed and everlasting flow. But every path they drew for me felt cold and slightly wrong. I turned the compass in my hand, listening for my own song. I walked the winding riverbanks, I felt the current deep, and asked the quiet voice inside what promises to keep. The explorers came with answers, they came with charts and rules, but the truest wisdom lives far from their schools. I closed my eyes and listened for the drumbeat in the soul. I don't need the guiding light to tell me where to go. My true north is the wild heart that the world can never know. but the journey starts in me. Of all the boundaries, the fences they have drawn to claim the ground, to own the space from dusk until the dawn. But the air belongs to no one, the river runs untamed, and the spirit that resists the cage can never be proclaimed. I stand between the old world and the one that has to start, and the clearest voice of guidance is the rhythm of my heart. I don't need a hero, I don't need a flag to wave. The only battle I must fight is the self I have to save. I choose my own horizon, I choose the ground I stand upon. I don't need the guiding light to tell me where to go. My true north is the wild heart that the world can never know. They can trace the sky and name the clouds, but they can't define my worth. I am the keeper of the path, reborn upon the earth. The compass points to freedom, but the journey starts in me. True north, the journey starts in me.
The ships arrived on silent tide, bringing the heavy noise. They plant their banner in the soil and crush the native joys. They speak in tongues I don't yet know. They talk of golden claim. They try to erase the history and rename the sacred name. I watch the boundary lines they draw, dividing what is mine, ignoring every memory etched in the river's winding line. It came with fire, came with smoke. They came with perfect greed. They underestimated the strength of a single tiny seed. They think this silence means surrender. They don't know the wild heart here. They raised a foreign flag on the ground where my ancestors sleep. They try to take the very air that my people fight to keep. I will not kneel, I will not trade the language of my name. The wind doesn't recognize their banner, it only feeds the flame. I stand between the old world and the fire they wanna start. Tried to find the simple man beneath the rules he knew. I offered peace, I offered truth, but all he heard was weakness. He saw the land as empty space, ignoring all its meekness. They think that we are fragile, they think that we will fall, but the roots of our resistance run deeper than their wall. They brought the violence, but I brought the light of understanding. They brought the weapons, but I brought the hope of standing. The strength of an army is nothing compared to a spirit that is free. They raised the foreign flag on the ground where my ancestors sleep. They try to take the very air that my people fight to keep. I will not kneel, I will not trade the language of my name. The wind doesn't recognize their banner, it only feeds the flame. I stand between the old world and the fire they wanna start. polished silver of the sword I have to draw. It shows the face of a soldier obeying every law. I wrap the silk and hide the truth, the woman underneath, the one who carries memory, the one who holds the wreath. I speak the orders clear and loud, I command the men to fight. But the face I see in the meadow is barely held by light. They praise the courage in the suit, the bravery in the stance. They don't see the duality, the complicated dance. I can't be two people, I have to choose the one. The reflection of a warrior is the only face I see. But beneath the steel and shadow, the woman still belongs to me. I stopped dividing who I was, the armor and the heart. The strength is in the compromise, the place where two things start. I am the daughter, I am the fighter, I am home. The mountain wind is sharp and cold, it strips away the lies. It shows the weakness and the strength reflected in my eyes. I learned to fight the external, I learned to use the blade. But the hardest battle was the choice that I delayed. To let the truth stand next to the strength, to let the two things blend, to stop pretending that the journey has a simple end. The honor isn't in the victory, it's in the honest choice. To risk the name, to risk the life, to finally find my voice. I will wear the silk to war, I will wear the courage home. The reflection of a warrior is the only face I see. But beneath the steel and shadow, the woman still belongs to me. I stopped dividing who I was, the armor and the heart. The strength is in the compromise, the place where two things start. I am the daughter, I am the fighter, I am home. I am the daughter, I am the fighter, I am home. The scroll is thick with custom, the ink is dry with law. They tell me who I have to wed and they ignore the flaw. They dress me up in silks and lace, they tell me to be quiet, but my hands are steady on the bow, resisting every riot. I watch the targets in the field, each circle drawn in chalk, and the path they pave for me is a story that will balk. They think the arrow flies by chance, they think the skill is luck, but every single victory is the path I had to pluck. I don't need their permission, I don't need their quiet nod. My wedding plan is written in the flight of the arrow. I choose my own horizon, I choose my own tomorrow. The archer's aim is steady on a life that must be free. I don't need a hero, I just need the strength of me. I will break the expectation, I will shatter every rule. I ride the winding mountain trail where the wind is sharp and clear. I leave the chatter of the court, the whispers of the fear. My mother's wish is heavy, a crown I can't yet wear, but my spirit needs the open space, the wildness in the air. They see the reckless challenge, they see the sudden fight, but I see the only path to claim the core of my own right. The target isn't wooden paint, the target is the tie, the thing that holds me to the life they want me to deny. I pull the string and hold the breath, I focus on the goal. In the flight of the arrow, I choose my own horizon, I choose my own tomorrow. The archer's aim is steady on a life that must be free. I don't need a hero, I just need the strength of me. I will break the expectation, I will shatter every rule. Shatter every rule. The archer's aim. They see the anger in my eyes, they see the rebel's will. They don't see the pressure of the crown that I must fill. I ran away from duty, I ran away from pain, but the price of freedom isn't light, it comes back like the rain. I looked into the wild eyes, the fur that held the curse, and saw the very woman I had vowed I wouldn't nurse. The magic twisted everything, the wish became the dread. I hurt the one who needed me by doing what they said. The crown is heavy, but the fault is heavier to bear. She was the bear, I was the beast that night we stood apart. She wore the fur, but I held the anger in my heart. Now I'm the one who stands between the chaos and the claim. I have to fix the consequence, I have to mend the name. The bride I'll be must first be whole, untethered and unscarred. We had to learn the quiet code, the language of the wood, to understand the simple bond, the way a family stood. I mended all the tapestries, the cloth that held the light, and found the love beneath the fighting, beneath the sudden cry. I see the woman and the queen, the two lives that she led, and understand the fear that drove the words that she had said. The curse wasn't magic, it was just the inability to bend, the inability to see the journey to the end. I don't need to change her, I just need to be myself. She was the bear, I was the beast that night we stood apart. She wore the fur, must first be whole, untethered and unscarred. The bride must be whole, untethered and unscarred. I built a wall of clear hard ice, a prison made of glass. They taught me rules of silence, said the danger soon would pass. But I'm done with being distant, I choose to make my own sign. The fear is not the power, the fear was keeping it close. Things I love now, my heart is finally exposed. I throw the locks away. I shatter the glass barrier, cold and strong. I'm taking back the place where I belong. I am the queen of freedom. I step off of the throne. I face the storm without a distance, standing fiercely alone. Break the glass, let the power out. The burden of the crown is gone. I embrace the secret I keep. A silent screaming blizzard, waking from its sleep. I drop the perfect greeting, the flawless cold nod. Yes, breaking the wall now is the only way to heal, to let the wildness surge and show the world what is real. The greatest strength is choosing to let the hold'em secret go. I shatter the glass barrier. I shatter the glass barrier, cold and strong. I'm taking back the place where I belong. I am the queen of freedom. I step off of the throne. I face the storm without a distance, standing fiercely alone. Break the glass, let the power out. The glass barrier. Power is out. The blizzard screams have faded, the silence rushes in. The kingdom looks devastated, a place where ruin can win. I stand among the fractures, watching the frozen rain. The fear is finally over, the power is finally free. But the cost of that freedom is only visible to me. The fortress is now gone. This is the quiet collapse, the moment the fight starts to end. The truth that finally snaps, the heart that needs to mend. I fix the fractured ice, but they can't mend the damage or pay the ultimate price. I let the storm pass through. This is the quiet collapse, the moment the fight starts to end, the truth that finally snaps, the heart that needs to mend. I let the wildness out, now I must face the fall, the quiet collapse of control. The quiet collapse, face the fall. The stage is finally set, the curtain starts to rise. The debt is paid, the past is met, there's fire in my eyes. They thought the story was over, they thought the book was closed. I stopped waiting for the hero, I put the glass shoe on myself. I stopped searching for the zero and found the ultimate wealth. The silence breaks tonight. This is the final act, no turning back, no delay. Every promise made, every fact will rise and clear the way. I am the leading lady, I choose the script, I choose the light. This is the final act of my own I gather all the pieces, the strength, the flaws, the pain, the power only increases, washed clean by all the rain. No more mirrors, no more walls, only the simple clear call. The villain thinks she's winning, the prince believes the lie, but the true story's beginning beneath the midnight sky. The power's in the choice. This is the final act, no turning back, no delay. Every promise made, every fact will rise and clear the way. I am the leading lady, I choose the script, I choose the light. This is the final act of my own The library is quiet, the scrolls are lined on the shelf. Every tale of riot, a princess found herself. The dust is on the cover, but the ink is wet and new. I don't need a mirror to see the face of the girl they try to be. I read the pages one by one, the battle's lost and won.
history is the key. I am the archive keeper. I hold the threads of their pain. I dive a little deeper to feel the sun and the rain. They left their footsteps here, and now their fate is mine. I am the archive keeper, rewriting every line. The sleeping beauty woke. The mermaid didn't drown. The Cinderella spoke and threw away the gown. Every tear, every lie, a lesson for tonight. They told us we were trapped. They told us we were bound. But the truth was wrapped up. The silence of the sound. The power's in the past. I am the archive keeper. I hold the threads of their pain. I dive a little deeper to feel the sun and the rain. They left their footsteps here, and now their fate is mine. I am the archive keeper, rewriting every line. Archive keeper, rewriting every
They handed us a sorrow. They tried to write the end, but we redefined tomorrow. We found a way to mend. We took the glass and the thorns and built a truth that shines. We broke the silence, every vow. The power is in the here and now. We stopped the wait and we stopped the fear. The future is finally clear. The history is the fuel. This is the legacy we claim. We wear the history like a flame. We took the silence and the shame and redefined the princess's name. It's not a curse, it's a crown built on the strength we found in the fall. This is the legacy we claim. The sea is rough, the mountains high. We learned to move beneath the sky. We saw the pain in the other's eye and understood we had to try. We are the sum of the stories. We are the proof that they lie. We don't need permission to lead. We don't need a sword to fight. We plant the revolution seed in the darkness and the light. The truth is the new rule. This is the legacy we claim. We wear the history like a flame. We took the silence and the shame and redefined the princess's name. It's not a curse, it's a crown built on the strength we found in the fall. This is the legacy we claim. see we claim. Redefine the name.
The plans they drew are dust now. The old foundations crack. We don't need magic, just trust now. To take the kingdom back. The old map leads to sorrow. The compass leads to doubt. I trace the lines of the future with a hand that shakes no more. We tear down the gilded barrier and open up the door. The history is the guide. This is the blueprint for tomorrow. Oh, the walls are strong and clean. No room for the fear or the sorrow. Oh, no trace of what has been. We build a new castle from the ground up on the choices we have made. This is the blue for tomorrow. The architects were cruel then. They drew the spaces small. They built the prison to rule men and watched us rise and fall. We use the tools we earn now. The strength, the skill, the fire. We learn the lesson in the ashes, the power in the stone. We are the change that finally crashes and builds the world alone. The past cannot define. This is the blueprint for tomorrow. Oh, the walls are strong and clean. No room for the fear or the sorrow. Oh, no trace of what has been. We build a new castle from the ground up on the choices we have made. This is the blueprint for tomorrow. For tomorrow. Blueprint for tomorrow. The choices we have made.
They wrote the rules in stone now. They told us where to stay. We made a path all our own now and walk the other way. The glass is shattered and gone. It's finally done. We stopped waiting for midnight. We stopped bowing to the crowd. We step into the sunlight and we will not
Curtains falling slowly, the stage lights start to dim. I feel the story holy, right down to the rim. The heavy volume is closed, but the ending is free. There is no final word now, no king, no witch, no curse. The power is in the unheard now, the simple truth I rehearse. The magic is us. A fate unwritten is the only one I need. The final chapter's beginning, planted like a seed. The pen is warm in my hand, the page is eternally clean. A beautiful fate unwritten, the strongest choice I look back at the fire, I look back at the ice. I reach for something higher and paid my own price. The archive is now mine. The future starts tonight. They thought the answer was
The power is dimple, found in a moment like this. The quiet choice to stay. A fate unwritten is the only one I need. The final chapter's beginning, planted like a seed. The pen is warm in my hand, the page is eternally clean. A beautiful fate unwritten, the strongest choice I